The prophetic perspective is what the church needs here. And by that I mean we don't live for politics. We don't base our confidence about the future on whoever gets elected. Let those who marry as though they were not marrying. Let those who rejoice, rejoice as though they were not rejoicing. Let those who buy as though they were not buying. Let those who deal with the world deal with it as though they had no dealings with the world. That's 1 Corinthians 7. And I just stick in, let those who vote or do politics do it as though they were not doing it, which means there's a kind of engagement that is not all-consuming. There's a kind of voting, a kind of doing politics, a kind of advocacy, which is not investing our whole selves in it because we're not here fully. We have a foot in heaven and a foot on the earth. We are citizens of two kingdoms. This is not our main home. This world is passing away. It says that in 1 Corinthians 7, says it again in 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. The world is passing away and the lusts of it, but those who do the will of God abide forever. So we know this system is disappearing, and therefore we shouldn't be so worked up about our opponent getting elected that it's going to undo our life. I sense I talked with one man after church on Sunday a few weeks ago, and it's as though his whole world were going to collapse if the person he didn't want to get elected got elected. And I just said to him, your issue is a spiritual one here, brother. You got way too much invested here. Are you a Christian? No. So the prophetic perspective says, I am God's child. Jesus Christ is my king. America is not my allegiance. God and heaven are my allegiance. And God can turn this for good no matter who gets elected, and I will always be pursuing His kingdom first and let the political chips fall where they will. That's the prophetic perspective. And the next thing is the sovereignty of God. I mean, we need a big, healthy dose that God rules the world. He puts up kings and He takes down kings. He's going to govern this election. He's going to get elected the one He wants elected, and if it's the person we think is hurtful, then we need to be hurt. Sometimes people say, God's going to judge us if we do abortion or if we have gay marriage or if we elect a pro-choice president or something. Well, He's not going to judge us because of that. That is the judgment. Abortion is the judgment. The spread of radical gay activism is the judgment. And so we need a healthy dose of the sovereignty of God. And the last thing I would say is we need the gospel. We need to say the reason we're on planet Earth is not to advocate for any particular political party. We're here to advocate for Christ and Him crucified. And that gospel may run 1,000 times better during the worst of economic times than it does during the best of economic times. So how do we know that the best of economic times is good for the country? I don't. Might be. You make the best of it. But if the worst comes under the sovereign hand of God, you say, I'm here not to experience the best prosperity. I'm here to advocate for the gospel, and the gospel may triumph.